Hello friends, welcome to the channel, and in this video I'll be showing you how to run Deepseek locally. So this has been made possible with Ollama. So I'll show you the steps, but first let me do a quick demo. So currently I'm running Deepseek R1 8 billion parameter, and I'm going ahead to ask it to write a Python Fibonacci program. So this is running locally, and this is a 10-year-old laptop. We do not have enough resources, and we also do not have the graphics card. So as you can see, it's thinking and it's doing this process slow. Let's take a look. As you can see, it is a 10-year-old laptop with Intel Core i5 6th generation. So we have 4 threads, no graphics card, and only 16 GB memory, and by default 4 GB swap. So as we can all see, most of this task is basically relying on the CPU, and so there it is. It's still thinking slowly, but maybe should I terminate or give it time? Let's give it time to wait for it to complete. Meanwhile, so for you to be able to run Deepseek locally, you need to have at least a graphics card. Depending on the model that you select, they vary, and they also require different memory specifications. So what you're seeing on right here, it's the 8 billion parameter version. This is the one, and so let's get started. So first of all, let me check memory to ensure we don't crash everything as we proceed. So the first step, I prefer installing Curl. Curl is an open source which usually allows us to download resources from servers. Okay, so the first step, you'll need to ensure you have curl installed on your machine, so which is done this way. If you are in Linux, you can write sudo apt install curl. That way you'll enter your password, then it will also prompt you. It will request additional permissions, let's say yes or no, only those. Then once you have installed curl, remember the command varies. For Windows, I think you'll just open and you'll have to find Windows related. So currently it detected I'm on Linux, but you can use Winget to download it for Windows. But currently in our case, I'm running Linux Ubuntu, so that's why I'm using the terminal directly. So be sure to select the correct the correct setup for your machine. Then after installing curl, the next step you have to do is to go to ollama.com, then hit download button. So Ollama allows us to run these models locally in our machines. So it's like an interface. So Remember, the first step we installed curl, then the next step is to install Ollama, which will enable us to run the preferred model locally. As you can see, it's taking time. There it is, it's writing the code Deepseek R1, the 8 billion parameter. So you will copy this command. It uses curl, so you copy it, then you will run it in your terminal, that is Control Shift V. Then you'll hit enter to execute it. So for now, I don't want to clear it up. I'll just hit Control C, then Control C again to terminate that, then exit. So as you can see, we have the code for Python that the Fibonacci program generated. And guys, let's remember that this relies on short context while running locally. Remember, the lower the number of parameters, the lower the context you need to input. Like, it doesn't remember large context charts, so we have to keep the chart as short as possible to get the most refined results. So currently it's taking time. Meanwhile, I'll do this. I'll copy the code. So I'll just select this piece, then, which is the command, copy. Then I'll do this. There is a set called programmers. Okay, no need for programmers. Python.org. Then what I'll do, I need to run this directly. Where is it? Okay, so I'll paste it here. Oops, sorry. Control Shift T. Okay, Control W. Okay, I'll just use programmers. Python compiler. So this is an online compiler for Python which is available for free. So let me run and see. Okay, and we input the nth term. Then if n is less than 1, invalid input. Otherwise, we create the new variables and b initialized by 0, 0 and 1 by default. Then we check range. Then there is the logic, the Fibonacci logic, whereby it adds numbers based on the next two. For example, there it is. For example, if n is 1, we just print 0. N is 2, we print 0 and 1. So maybe adjust the loop condition. So this is the code provided by the model. It's still doing its thing. So as you can say, running this thing locally takes a lot of time. As you can see, it's still thinking. I presume it's still thinking. I haven't seen the close tag, not yet. So what I'll do to save your time, I will terminate this part, Control C. Then I'll do Is it quit? Okay, this the command. Okay, unknown. Okay, to quit is buy. I remember we use buy to close the session. So I'll do clear. Then remember we had already installed Ollama using this command. So the next step after installing Ollama, you will have to run Deepseek on locally. So 1.8 billion parameter, it's taking too much time. So I think I'll use this one, 1.5 billion parameter. So the command is Ollama run Deepseek, the model Ollama run your preferred model, then you give it the parameter you want. For our case, 1.5. Remember, we do not have a graphics card in our system. It's just the 4-threaded CPU with 16 GB of RAM. So 1.5 billion parameters, I think it's well suitable in our case. So there is the command. Nope, this is the largest version. So this is for Quen 1.5 billion parameter. It is the one that I'm running this command. And so the larger the model, the larger the system requirements. If I tend to run anything beyond 8 billion parameter, as you all noted, it will slow down my system, even the 67 billion parameter. So let's use the cheapest model. Okay, I'll hit enter. Let's give it time to run. So I'll repeat the instruction. Write the Fibonacci program using Python. So as you can see, it's really quick with the lowest model. This is because it's best suitable with this machine. Remember, the larger the model, the larger the requirements, and the larger the model, the higher the quality of output. So the lowest the model, the lower you have to proceed on reducing context. Remember, it doesn't retain context for that long when you're using the lowest models. So basically you will be using the 1.5 billion parameters and you'll be clearing context oftenly. So yes, the step. So first it suggests it's still thinking, but it suggests we get the input number of terms. We initialize the first two values with 0 and 1, then loop from 2 up to n minus 1, since the initial list has a length of 2, meaning this 0 and 1. This is the initial length. Then for each item in this range, the loop that it created, we calculate Fibonacci index minus 1 plus, that's the Fibonacci logic. Then we add the new value. I think this will be the C value, that way. So it's still thinking, testing the logic. I haven't seen the code yet, so I think it has gotten it. So let's give it a few time. Remember, we are running it locally, that's why it's taking a bit of time. And remember, the system is not suitable for running AI models. The reason is we also do not have a graphics card input. Keep that in mind. It will run, but for good performance, I think you need a graphics card. And maybe 64 GB of RAM. So there is the code. So we have it. Let me see. It's still thinking. So it has to update this code. Let's wait. It's still thinking. Still thinking. Remember, in case you need assistance, you can put it down in the comment section. And remember to like and subscribe to the channel, for it is the motivation to keep this growing. So while we wait, remember, while using DeepSeek, you have to be keen when it comes to data, as based on the release of this video, it has been said, it has been rumored that DeepSeek sends your data to China, which some countries are banning DeepSeek access in their countries. So remember, while doing this, you have to be careful. Do not do this in your work laptop. Remember, this video is meant for illustration, and my personal overview, I don't think if it's unfair to criticize DeepSeek regarding sending data to China, which, in short, I'm neutral when it comes to that topic. But DeepSeek it changed everything. It changed the overview of how tech companies work. Okay, so let me step outside of that story. Remember, this video is meant for a demonstration on how to run it locally. It is not guaranteed that your data will be sent to China or not. But remember, we are learning it locally, and in case you need to find out if your data is going anywhere, then you'll need to have tools like Wireshark so that you could observe your packets. Maybe you could also run it in offline mode. I mean, turning off your Wi-Fi, just to be sure. Okay, so it has generated the code. I'll copy it, then go back to our compiler, then Control All, erase that. So there's the code generated. Remember, the lower the parameter, you'll have to lower the context as much as possible. So let me give it time to run. Let's discover what does help mean. I'll hit stroke and question mark. So these are the available command. You can set session variables, show model information. To exit, you hit by. For help, stroke and / and question mark. That way. So let's see. Let me do, as I said, you need to clear context in order to get quality results from the low model parameter. So let me do this. Let me do stroke show. Okay, available commands. What happened? Did I do it correctly? No, I didn't do it correctly. Yes, I did it correctly. Then available commands for show. So I'll do show info / show info. There we have something. Show info. Then the model is Quen2. Parameters 1.8. Context length. Remember, this is what I've been repeating, emphasizing on it. The lower the model, the lower the context. Yeah, that's it, guys. That's how you use Deepseek locally. So here's a recap. So first step is to ensure you have curl installed in your machine. Second step is to ensure that you install the Ollama. You download and install Ollama. That's the second step. Then the third step is to run your model directly using the Ollama command. In our case, if you don't have a graphics card, I would recommend picking Deepseek R1 Distill Quen 1.5 billion parameters. This is the one I would recommend. And also remember, context length matters. Don't put large context expecting quality results. Keep that in mind. And finally, the larger the model, the larger the requirement, the system requirement. So that has been how we run Deepseek. It's still compiling. I will leave it as it is to save your time, but I believe this is the Fibonacci code. So bad we didn't have to test it. Let me see. Let me find another compiler. Or the easiest way, let me copy the code again, control copy. I'll do it locally. I'll just run Python 3, then control shift V. Yeah, it seems the code has a bunch of errors. Yeah, it has a bunch of errors. Control All, Control V. Let's see. Run. Yes, the command isn't correct. So, junk in, junk out. That's the common thing about AI. The lower the parameters, the lower the quality. Let's see what Deepseek, the real Deepseek says. I'll paste it there. Then request it to fix. Is it Alt Enter? Okay. So this is the live version. It's taking time to think. Okay, the problem is the code outputs two terms. That's a bug. Okay, come on. Okay, this thinking part takes longer. Takes longer. I hope this is not a bug as well. Okay, I'll copy. So you may pause the video. Remember, this is the code we generated locally. So in case you find a bug in this video, put it in the comments section. Meanwhile, let me go back to the local Python Ctrl+Shift+V. Still a bug. Maybe not a bug. Ctrl+All. Let me comment out that part. This is the new version. Then write again. Run again. Sorry. Okay. So it's likely we do not have a bug. Maybe the problem lies in inputting because command failed. Yeah. So let me do this. So to save on your time, I think I should end it from there. And here is my final verdict. So running Deepseek locally, the higher the parameter, the higher the quality. And in case you need any assistance, be sure to request or ask. Yeah, catch you on the next one. Goodbye.